What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Tomboy podcast. I'm your host, Kristin Miles, and I've got my beautiful co-host, Lila Martone Smith, with me. Episode 4. We're at
4.
4
Yeah.
already. I
Yes,
love it.
girl.
How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good. I feel great. I'm a little exhausted. Okay. My husband and I are doing this new thing. We're waking up at 4 a.m. He's got to be at work super early. We're waking up at 4. We're starting our day with a workout or a walk run type situation. I don't really run. I will say skip/jog. Okay, let's not categorize me as running. I don't run. But anyway, so every morning we are getting up and we are listening to like a different kind of like self-help, little motivational book. So right now we're listening to the 5 a.m. Club. So I'm exhausted, but I do feel good about it, if that makes sense. Now,
Yeah.
he keeps telling me that every day is just going to get easier and I'm going to get to the point where I wake up without an alarm. No, 4 a.m. is not the time for me. I want to stay in bed, but we're doing this together. And, it's just all about starting your day in a positive mindset instead of waking up and spending an hour on social media and scrolling and just getting lost in everybody's dramas and all the this and the that. This is a way to focus on yourself and to get your day started in a positive forward motion. So that is what we're doing. So ask me next week or maybe in a few weeks how I'm feeling about the 4 a.m. wake up. But I mean, it does put you in a really, really good headspace, so.
Yeah, I would think take the time out of it, the time of day out of it, and the routine of it, and getting outside and getting that sunlight. Those are all amazing things. You got to start your day off right.
Right.
I run
I
out
mean,
there to
anytime
see
you
my
start your
goat.
day, I mean, same, but different,
Yeah.
We have little
I mean,
mongooses that run around here.
do you really?
Yeah, I swear to God, they're the big fluffy white-tailed ones. They're not like the little ratchet, little like crusty ones. These are like these beautiful, glorious, fluffy, like I want one so bad, except it will probably chew my face off because they kill cats and birds and cobras and everything. So it's like a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But they're so pretty.
Wow.
I just want to touch one so bad. But yeah.
They sound cool. I'm gonna have to Google that.
Yeah, they're killers. They'll kill scorpions, they'll kill cobras, they'll kill cats, but they're so cute and fluff. Their little tails, just little fluff.
Wow.
I know, I know. So that's
Wow.
always good start to my mornings if I see them.
Yes, I love that. I also love that you guys are listening to positive, podcasts, and tell me a little bit more about your goals when you're looking for something to listen to. I know you mentioned the 5 a.m. club. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. That's what we're listening to currently, and it's by Robin Sharma. And it just kind of sets up your day for you. It tells you how to start your day so it begins in a positive note and ends in a positive note and you feel accomplished. With self-help books and stuff, I mean, I just feel like it has to speak to me in that moment in my life. If I'm stressed about this or trying to work on this or trying to channel my energy in too many directions, I feel like I'm not one of those people that wakes up and morning to night I'm listening to, positive manifestation podcast all day. Don't get me wrong. But, I like to take time out a little while every day to, especially if I'm having a bad day or I'm stressed, just to kind of reset my mind. Whether you believe in it or not, it works, y'all. It works. Changing your mind and just tuning it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I have had times in my life where I've had devotionals or I've journaled or just something that I started my day with, and I always enjoyed that. My dad, a cool thing about starting your day on a positive note, whenever I was competing, or probably mostly when I was trying to get my pro card, every morning I would wake up in the morning from a text from my dad being like, "You were the one that decides your path," and little
Oh,
motivational things that to get you out of bed and get you on the treadmill or whatever you had to do that day to get your goal accomplished. But yeah, every morning. And then I lost my little razor, my little pink razor that he would send them to
oh,
me on, so I didn't have them anymore. But I kept them forever because it was just so sweet and it was so true, and it started my day off so well, and just something I think made him feel a part of what I was doing with my competing, and
yeah.
I always thought that was really cool. I I know for a fact that just speaking words into existence and putting them out there in the universe can create those things happening in your life. And I firmly believe that the way we talk to ourselves affects how we feel about ourselves and how we present ourselves to the world. And I'm not saying that it was, like, super easy for me always, but I do have kind of, like, a perpetually optimistic attitude now. I don't know if it was
Mhm.
because I had to work on it so much or because I just wasn't naturally that way. I don't know that most of us are. It is
Right.
a choice to be positive, and it's so important to be positive. I feel like so many people are, like, living in their own hell
Yeah.
because of the negative emotions that they give themselves that are not even necessarily external. It's like they're causing this hell that they're in
Right.
by
Right.
the things that they're saying to themselves. It's just such a factor in a room, a vibe. I mean, the vibe is
Right.
everything.
Your vibe attracts your tribe, honey, and what you put out is what comes back in. I mean, I know people and one friend in particular, and everything is going to go wrong all the time. No matter what. No, I mean, you could be walking outside to pick flowers and it's, well, what if there's bees? What if you get stung? You have a meeting this afternoon. Da, 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 da. It's like constant, constant, constant. And I asked them, I said, is there any moment in your day where you're not thinking about what is going to go wrong? And they were like, no. And they told me no, because if I think ahead of time about what's going to go wrong, then when it does go wrong, I'm no longer shocked. And then I'm prepared for it. And I was like, because I'm the opposite. I'm like, well, this could go wrong, but we just gonna try. We're gonna try
Yeah.
anyway, you know? And most of the time it works out. Most of the time it works. If you believe in it, it's gonna work somehow. You know, sometimes the path isn't as easy as we want, but if you believe it and you speak it up and you say, you know what, it's not if, it's when. It's not if, it's when. But
Yes.
if you have a negative mindset, then that win is going to be a negative win. I
Yes.
don't want nothing. No, I'm trying to be, I'm old. I'm trying to live in a peaceful, happy life. So I'm not trying to put
Yep.
negativity in my life, y'all.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, and even if something does go wrong, I'm still gonna be like, oh, well, could have been worse. Like, I'm
Like,
not gonna be like, "I knew this was gonna happen," or the people that are like, "It's always something." Well, yeah, it is always something. We need a name for, like we need a
right,
name that's not a Karen or a Linda, but
right.
we'll have to come up with one.
We'll
Um,
come up with screen
but no,
names.
it's
Yeah,
like everything is not going to some things are gonna go wrong, but that's just kind of like what life is. So you can
right.
either bitch about it and complain, or you can put your boots on and figure out what you need to do to fix it. So I don't understand the people that are just like want to drown in the I knew this wasn't gonna work.
And
Well,
I knew something bad was going to
congratulations. You
happen.
were right
Right. And now
about
your
something
world is
horrible.
crumbled. Right. Who wants to be right about something horrible? I want to be right about all the amazing greatness that surrounds me, that will happen, that is happening. You know, there's so many people that live in this bubble of just anger and everything's supposed to be wrong and it's going to go wrong anyway and those are the people that age really really quickly because they're mad all the time. Like,
It's so funny you say that because I have a friend whose wife has like all her wrinkles are right here
uh-huh,
in her nose. And all I could
uh-huh.
think when I saw him was like, that's a woman that is just walking around with her nose crinkled up and everything. I can't believe they're
Yes.
doing that. Oh my God, they parked there. Oh my God.
Right.
I can see it. I don't even like the face I make when I wrinkle my nose like that. It's horrible, horrible. And all I can hear when
Right.
I see her is my grandmother saying, well, your face is going to get stuck like that.
Remember we were told that as kids all the time.
It's,
Don't do
it's
that.
kind of
But
true.
it is though. It is though because a lot of
Yes.
frowning and a lot of anger, it
Yeah.
just I mean, even in Hungary, if you walk through the streets and see like a lot of the older people, they just look angry. Their face is stuck on anger and communism and just like they grew up under the Iron Curtain and they're still mad about it. And they still don't
Yeah.
see the good and the beauty in the world. Like, I had a shirt on. I was in Hungary one time, and I had a shirt on, and it said, like, "Smile just because," or, like, it was something corny, something stupid. It was just a little T-shirt, and this lady at the cash register looks at me, and she goes, "Why are you wearing that?" And I was like, I was like, "Well, I just like to smile." I was like, "You know it, you know." just it's contagious to other people. It was not she was not catching it. She did not get infected. She looked at me like I had two heads and I was a freaking moron. Okay? She was like, "Okay." And I was like, "But
Yeah.
you
Too happy.
just right. Like I'm not happy all the time. I have moments where I lose it and I cry and scream and I'm frustrated, but then I have to always bring myself. I know that I need to bring myself back to a different place. I know that's not a place I want to stay in because
No.
what happens?
No. Yeah, I can definitely go there. And you can dig that hole and just get deeper into it and more pissed. And then you start talking to other people about how pissed you are. You're trying to get
Mhm.
them on your, aren't you as pissed as me
Mhm.
about this? And they're like,
Right.
well, it didn't hit today, but it'll
If
get
you want me to
better.
be.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the
And
thing
then,
is misery loves company, you know? So it's almost like you have your sets of friends that you reach out to that you know will like be like, yeah, oh my God, I can't believe this, because that's what you need in that moment, you know? And it's
yeah.
and sometimes it's not those friends we need to call. We need to call the sunshine friend that's like, girl,
Yes.
calm down. Calm down, bring
Yes.
it back, reel it in, reel it in.
Yep.
But everybody's got
Yep.
that one friend. Like I know which friend I would call when I just need someone to be like, oh my God, I can't believe da, 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 da. And then they just amp you up to just
Yep.
justify your
Yep. Yep. It can be really, really detrimental, like in a work atmosphere. I mean, I can
oh
remember at
God.
the restaurant even, we would have like one manager that we had just all decided that
Mm-hmm.
they were the worst. We were not going to do anything they wanted us to do. We were going to talk shit about them in the to-go room and like
To go room. Yeah. And guess what?
so
But that was our bonding. But that's how people
yeah.
bond. They find that person they hate or that topic that they all agree on in a negative way, and then they amp each other up, and it turns into this toxic, sick. Where I look back on relationships I've had in my life, friendships like that I've had in the workplace, and I'm like, we weren't actually friends. We were just gang hating the same people or disagreeing with what was going on at work. But you're not my friend. I haven't talked to some of these people since I left, you know, where I used to work. And I'm like, we weren't actually friends. We were just misery buddies. Like we were like, oh, you hate them? I hate them too. And it gave us something to talk about. It gave us something to gossip about. It gave us something at work, like a platform to stand on. And that's why we were friends. I don't need those people. I don't know.
No, and I think there can be healthy uses for it. Like if there really is a leader that needs to be overthrown, like people have
Yeah.
to join together. I'm sure there's some like anthropological reason why it's healthy, but
Yes.
for your mood, it's not benefiting your mood. It's not helping the energy in the room. It's not bringing anything positive to the world. You're not adding value, so it kind of just doesn't need to be in the picture at all.
Right. And you almost feel guilty if you step into that space in a positive mood. You know, like there were some mornings I'd walk into our, you know, little room where we all had our desks and everything in our little office and just as happy as can be. And you walk in, everybody's like, oh my God, did you read this? And you can literally feel your energy like, oh, like,
That's what
first
we're
of all, I'm
doing
not
today.
allowed in this space to be happy because people are looking at me sideways like, shut the hell up, sit down, stop smiling. But then you start taking it in. You start taking it in, and without even realizing it, your entire energy changes. So,
So that's why you got to say no to being around those people.
right. Sometimes
You
you
get
can't,
it?
you know, say,
No, you can't. But that does bring me to another topic that we wanted to talk about. And that was just if something is not a fuck yeah, then it's a hell no. I'm out. And saying no to people isn't always fun, but you got to do it sometimes to protect your own peace, your own energy. You've got to be self aware enough to know who brings that out in you
mm-hmm,
and not entertain it. And you really got to have some nuts sometimes to just tell
mm.
people no if
I
you feel
struggle
like
with
it's
this.
going to be
I
an
still struggle
energy
with this.
drain.
I,
What do you think is the biggest obstacle when you have a question in front of you that you don't want to agree to? You don't want to say yes. Do you feel like it's their feelings? Do you feel like it's people around you that might be listening to the conversation? Like, what do you think you're letting them down?
yes, I am a pleaser when it comes to any type of responsibility or any type of responsibility I have to a person, whether that's professional or personal. I feel so guilty about letting people down, even if it negatively impacts me. And I've gotten much better about it now. And don't get me wrong, because once you push me to a point, honey, there's no, it's like I'm Gemini. I'm a Gemini. Okay, it's black and white. Like either I'm a people pleaser, like, oh my God, I don't want to hurt your feelings, or bitch, I'm about to hurt your heart. Okay, with my words. Okay. But in category one, when it's people that I care about and I care and I want and I'm able to help them, a lot of times I'll help them and put them ahead of even if it's detrimental to me, and my husband talk about this a lot. It's just something I have to work on, you know? And I wish I could just tell everybody no all the time. But that's not good either, but I don't know. It's just
I
not.
think part of it too that you might not have thought about before, or maybe you have, is that part of it's generational. Part of
Yeah.
it is being raised somewhat in the South. I think those two things contribute a lot more than a lot of women realize.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of raised to be like good girls.
Yes, ma'am. No,
Don't
ma'am.
rock the boat.
Yeah.
You get what you get, that kind of thing.
And just how our parents, I mean, my dad he's a yes man, the sweetest man in the world. This man has this much personality and all the things, but I've watched this man my entire life do and do and do for people who have not done a nothing for him. And he knows it. And his view on it is it sits well with me. And I feel like I've done
Exactly.
the right thing. So, but
Exactly.
a lot of people have screwed him over, in this,
Absolutely.
and it just sucks. But
Yes. I feel like Gabe and I talk about this a lot because we will both do anything for anyone. Even if we don't really even like you, we're probably going to help you if you need it.
yeah,
But I feel like we're willing to do those things, not expecting anything in return, not even
Mhm.
expecting those people to appreciate them. You have to be willing to, if you're going to be, a people pleaser, you're going to be helping. Because I don't
Mhm.
necessarily think they're the same thing. You're helpful. Being helpful is an awesome thing. But when it's not, like you said, detrimental to you,
Yeah,
but I do think that they're different. Being helpful and just being a people pleaser, they are different.
yeah,
I really think that you would just really enjoy learning that phrase. That doesn't sound like something I'm going to be able to do right now.
yeah. Maybe I'm gonna practice that this week, Kristen.
And no is also a complete
Yeah,
sentence.
just
I
no.
mean,
Period.
Gabe and Danica laugh at me because if somebody offers them something, they'll say, "No, thank you. I'm okay." And it's because they've heard me say it so much to people that offer me desserts or cakes or
Mhm.
would you like this or a drink, whatever. "No, thank you. I'm okay. No, thank you. I'm good. No, thank you." Like it's literally all it takes. "No, thank you."
Right.
And you know how many people are like, "But why? But why?"
Why don't you want it? Why
None.
don't you? No, thank you. Shut the fuck up. No, thank you. you know?
I got that. It's so funny too because I got that phrasing from The Office because it's something that Jim says to somebody. I forget. He says that doesn't really sound like something I'm gonna do, and I'm
It's
like,
not.
that is the perfect way to say no. So I've been saying it for like years now. Yeah, that doesn't really sound like something I'm gonna do.
Or I want to do. Or I can do. Sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah, I mean, whatever suits the situation, but this just doesn't really sound like something I'm gonna be able to do.
And that's it. And then you
And
leave
that's
it.
it.
My problem is I tried to explain and justify why, and oh, I can't do it because of this. And that's what my husband always tells me. He's like, Lila, you just tell them, no, I can't. Period. And that's it. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify your
Yeah.
reasons for not doing. You're not asking me for a kidney. You're not asking me, if you're asking me to work an extra shift at work and I can't do it, then I say, no, I'm sorry, I can't.
I can't.
That's it. And that's it. That is what I'm practicing now in my life much more than
Yeah.
I did in the past. So
I think it will
I'm
get a
getting, I'm
lot
getting good
easier.
at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will get a lot easier after this episode,
Right.
I think.
That just doesn't sound like something I would like to
Practice it
do
a
right
little
now.
bit. This just doesn't sound like
Yes.
something I'm going to be able to do.
Sorry. Actually, I'm just going to
What
leave
are
out the
the dates
sorry.
again? Yeah, that's not looking good.
But good
It's so
luck.
funny. Yeah, but good luck. But that just goes into what we were talking about before with the energy vampires and the time vampires. I would leave
Mm-hmm.
the gym was always a place where people would catch me. Like I would
Oh,
be
yeah.
finishing with a client, I'm walking out the door, and then some random gym goer wants to be like, "Hey, Do you wrestle your girlfriends at competitions?
You're like, "Ah,
That is
okay."
an actual example. I'm dead serious. And he just was talking to me about my competitions, and I never mind. Like, I get it. Whatever. I get that it's different. Some people don't really understand it. They have questions about competitions and competing and dieting and things like this. But this gentleman's questions went from talking about the actual preparations for the shows to, well, do you go with family or do you stay with friends? And I said, well, a couple of girlfriends and I that I compete with, we get a hotel room to save cost. And that turned into him asking if we wrestled each other at the
Oh,
shows. And I'm like, why would we do that? Well, because you guys all
not that
have
type of
muscles. We're
party.
like, to see who's stronger. No,
This is not an
no,
arm wrestling competition.
we never
Like,
did that. We never did
no,
that.
never
He,
ever.
yeah, he had kind of nice arms and biceps for his age. So I think he
Mhm.
wanted me to like be aware of what he was working with.
Okay,
He's
okay.
always in tank tops. But yeah, he just always seemed to catch me when I was leaving. And it's like, it never occurred to him. I had just gotten off work. I don't want to be there anymore. I'd been up since 3. I'd worked out a couple times. I'd seen 16 clients. I'm trying to go home.
Right.
And I finally got to the point where I had to say, hey, bud, I really enjoy the conversations that we have. I'm more than happy to talk to you more about this, but you're going to have to buy some sessions. I'm headed out the door. You can get with my manager about scheduling those.
There you
And I
go.
never had to
That
worry
was
about him doing it again.
that was a very
I mean,
professional way of saying, "No, we're stopping now." That's it.
well, it was not my first reaction because my initial reaction is, God damn it, can't you see I just want to go the fuck up right now? Mean.
I
The,
mean,
just a little forethought. This person looks like they're in a hurry. This person is scurrying away from me right now.
right. This
Why
person's
would I
back is
holler
turned
their
to me.
name?
Right. Her back is turned to me currently as I ask her these questions. Read the room,
But
buddy.
you
Read the room.
read the room. Those people though, they have no concept that you might be in the middle of something or doing something, and maybe you're not. Maybe you're trying to socialize with a bunch of other people at a party and they're
Right.
monopolizing your attention or whatever it is. Energy vampires suck.
Yeah. But you know, and
Suck.
but I truly, truly think that some people, I believe that there's people that have no idea they're energy vampires. They just that is their MO in life. They're just like this vortex that just sucks in people's energy, and like people try to avoid them like the plague, like they're not the person you sit next to in a meeting, they're not the person at a party you want to accidentally be sat next to. But then there's some people that I truly believe they don't get it, and they will
I
just
know.
talk and just and this and that, and their intention is not to pull you down. I think they just live in such a miserable little bubble, and I feel sad for them because they don't even understand that I don't want to talk to you right now, not because I don't like you, because you're killing my vibe, girl. You're killing my vibe. Like, please, if I'm
Keep
here,
it off my
keep
wave.
it here. Right. Find somebody else. Find someone on your wave right now because I'm here. And I'm a very expressive person. You can tell across the room what my vibe is in that moment. Don't come over to me like, did you hear that? And you're like, I'm trying to get drunk right now. Like, just bring me a shot of tequila. Like, please stop. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. It's kind of like there's something about older people, they just love calling and telling you that somebody died.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that? Is your dad doing
Mm-hmm.
that to you? My dad loves to
Oh yeah,
call me
yeah.
and say, did you hear about so and so? And I'm like, well, no. And and feel terrible that they're gone, but I didn't even know them, Dad.
Right. And that's the thing. And that's, yeah. If it's someone I know, of course. But yeah, yeah, he does all the
It
time.
kills
Like,
me.
remember,
I'm like,
remember when you were 7 years old and we lived in Woodland Hills in Columbia and that family came to stay with us? Well, their son, I'm like, I was 7. Like, I don't, yeah, no,
it's
but they
interesting.
came to stay with us. Well, he died. And I'm like,
Amazing.
I don't know. Right. I'm really sad for his family, but I don't know who these people
Yeah.
are.
I think we are going to really miss the boat if we don't talk more about how important it is the way that we speak to ourselves,
Yes.
how
Yes.
it affects how we view ourselves, how it affects everything. I was with a girlfriend a couple of weeks ago, and we're
Mhm.
talking about how she's getting onto her daughter about the way she speaks to herself and how she doesn't want to hear her daughter saying she's ugly or that she's fat and this kind of thing. And then half an hour later, we were taking photos. And one of the first things that this mother said was, "Oh my God, look at my belly." And I'm immediately like, we just talked about this.
Literally.
You cannot speak to yourself like that in front of your kid and then be surprised when they do it. And none of us want any children to be thinking or talking about themselves in a
Right.
poor
Right.
manner. It kills me.
Absolutely.
I just know if you guys have listened to me for any amount of time, you know I don't tolerate that bullshit. There's nothing more detrimental, I think, to your self-esteem, your confidence, the way you walk around in the world, whether you throw your shoulders back or not, than how you speak to yourself. And like I was
Absolutely.
texting you about editing the podcast.
Right. And
I'm
I'm like,
editing the podcast, and literally every word I heard coming out of my mouth was I, and I'm like, I am so fucking annoying right now. I could
what?
not listen to myself talk anymore. But even then I have the thought and I go, stop. You've listened to this 3 times already. Nobody else is going to be, well, maybe somebody else is going to notice it, but they're not going to pick you apart like you're doing it to yourself right now. And honestly, it's because I had listened to it for the 3rd time. And as I was getting into it, I'm like, okay, I listened to this twice. I pulled all the pauses. This is just what it is. And you can have the thought. It's just like we were talking about before. You can have the thought. You just can't entertain it. Oh my God,
Right.
I feel bloated today. Okay, have the thought, but don't entertain it. It doesn't go further. What can I do about feeling bloated? Well, I could drink some more water. I could eat some berries. I could have some broccoli for lunch. I don't know. Whatever your thing is that helps you not be bloated, you
Do
do that
that.
thing and then you move on. We don't sit
Right.
around thinking about how we're bloated all day and does anybody notice, and whatever aspect of that is people aren't paying attention to you. So please speak to yourselves nicely. I mean,
Listen,
I don't even know. It's
this
so
is
frustrating to me.
this took me a very, very long time. I've always been curvy and juicy and just voluptuous my whole life. I can lose weight, gain weight. My curves are there. Okay. Back in middle school, high school, it was not cool to be curvy. That was before, the BBL nation and everything. Like it wasn't like the thing. Okay. Now, I mean, people are paying to have a butt like mine, which is, I mean, I've been asked a couple times, if I've had a BBL, and I'm like, oh, I look like it? Okay. I haven't. I just do a lot of squats, but I spent so much of my life, and I've heard this in movies, and I've heard this, and it just resonates with me, is if I make fun of myself first, then it takes the power away from other people doing it. So if they do, I've already done it. Like if I'm making a comment like, oh yeah, well, I'm the fat friend, or at least I got a pretty face, or da 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 da. In my mind when I was younger, and not even that much younger, but I mean, even 5, 6, 10 years ago, I would always be the first person to say, yeah, well, I mean, I might not fit in that, or oh, must be nice, but being the fat girl, this and that, but at least I got a pretty face. That was always my thing. So thank God,
You have
but
legitimately never been fat.
I've always,
You hear me yelling at you right
honey,
now? You have never been.
I went to the doctor yesterday because I've been sick for 18 days. And the first thing he tells me is you will get better if you are not so fat. And they use these words here. They have no filter. And I'm like, he said, well, you're kind of fat. So, and I'm like, thank you. It took a long time for me to not call myself that, but thank you. And my husband gets on me all the time. Even today, I was like, God, I just feel so ugly today. And he was like, why do you say stuff like that? He was like, why? He was like, no one thinks that about you. You are thinking that right now. And it's just so easy to get wrapped up because it is kind of a protection mechanism to, if I say it first, then if they say it, it's not going to hurt me because I've already said it. So we all got to stop doing that as women, as men, as anybody, whether it's your weight, whether it's your personality, whether it's your teeth, whether it's your hair, whatever, we've got to stop speaking to ourselves like that. Because like you said, it defines how other people see us and how we see ourselves. I look at some of these women, honey, 300 plus pounds in a mini skirt, some knee-high boots, every roll, everything hanging, juicy, jiggling, moving, and they walk in the room and you look at them like, dang girl, okay. Because guess what? They're not looking at themselves in the mirror, calling themselves fat or ugly. They think they are the finest woman on the planet, and you believe it because that's the
I
energy.
believe it.
Yes.
Yes, I
They
will
walk
believe
in,
it
I'm like,
every
dang,
time.
girl. Yes, like,
And be your
okay,
biggest fan,
okay.
like, damn, you did that. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
There is literally nothing I love more than seeing a woman rocking some shit like that and not giving a fuck. I
right.
love it.
I love it. Yeah.
That will be the sexiest bitch on the planet to me in that
Exactly.
moment.
Exactly. She will be much sexier
100%.
than 120-pound, you know, Barbie standing next to her. I have a friend, and she is probably one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life. She's had a lot of work done, and it's because of her insecurity. And her just energy is like an afraid. If you see her pictures on Instagram, on Facebook, you're like, oh, this conceited, oh my God, who does she think she is? When you speak to her, she is this timid, like you can feel herself just disappearing inside of her body. I saw her out one time at TJ Maxx and she didn't have makeup on. Now she is drop dead gorgeous. This girl is beautiful with or without makeup on. And I was like, oh my God, hey. And she was like, oh my God. She was like, please don't tell anybody you saw me. And I was like, wait, you can't be at TJ Maxx? And she was like, no, but I don't have makeup on. And I'm like, this girl is stunning, stunning. And it's just, it's mind boggling, but that's how she talks to herself and she believes it. When she looks in the mirror, that's what she sees,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's just
sad
so
to me.
sad.
And the issue there is people like that have children and then they pass those thoughts and those things they say on to their children. And
Right.
now we've got another generation of women that's insecure and looking for validation or whatever the thing is. I mean, I know I'm out there. You know what I mean? I will post a picture. Shocking is not a problem for me. I
Yeah,
like that.
same.
I like that little bit of like, oh,
Ooh,
you
ooh.
didn't think that, you thought that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love keeping them guessing. Part of that for me, and I know this sounds so silly, and probably I don't even know what kind of disorder I probably have because of it. But I just feel like if I'm doing it, maybe somebody else will say, "Well, shit, I could do that."
Right.
And I think it has happened to a certain extent where there are other girls or women that have been like, "Well, shit, Kristin did it,
Absolutely.
I'm doing it." And
Absolutely.
I freaking love that.
Yeah.
I will take that bullet. I will take that hit if it will make you guys see that you can post that picture you want to post. Fuck
Right.
what anybody says about it. Most people are going to enjoy it. There are less haters out there than you think there are. I mean, I really have to laugh at the term because I kind of think it's funny when people think they have haters. Like,
Right.
people are not thinking about you that hard to be
Right.
hating on you.
Right.
But there are people I think that, kind of snarky or whatever. And I have had a couple instances that have come out over the last few months where I had to, remind them, don't
Hmm.
come at me.
Hmm.
Don't come for me because I will come at you harder.
Right.
And I don't care. I do have a big vampire gorilla drag car racing husband that is ready to roll with a phone
Right.
call. And it gives me an extreme amount of confidence, I'm sure, to be a little mouthier than normal. But in general, my MO, especially since I started with the fitness stuff, has been to just freaking do it. Do it.
Right.
If you want to do it, do it. But
And
that reminds me, I did want to talk about, I did want to say, because I forgot this earlier, talking about putting things out into the air.
Mhm.
When I got my pro card, I did the USA Championships was the show that I won. And leading up to that entire show, I had a little note card on my speedometer that said, I am an IFBB pro because I conduct myself as one. That was all
Ooh.
it said. I am
Ooh.
an IFBB pro because I conduct myself as one. And it not only infiltrated my thoughts as far as putting positive energy into the air as winning the contest, but it also was a gentle reminder on the daily that I conduct myself as one.
Right.
I get that extra minute on the treadmill, or I do all these things. I cross all these T's, dot all these I's, because that's what a pro does.
Right.
And it freaking worked.
I mean,
you're never going to convince me that didn't have a strong determining factor in me winning that show, because I had already envisioned that was a show I was winning. And yeah, not to get sideways, but
listen, there's science on this. There's proof that what you believe, if you believe you're already in this space, or you've already achieved this, or you're already living this other life, that is what even subconsciously, that is what your day-to-day movement is going towards.
yeah.
I have, as corny as it sounds, I have little sticky notes around my mirror, little affirmations that I say to myself.
Yep.
Okay. Some mornings I don't, but I try to read them, speak them out loud, and
Yep.
believe them. And it's just, it's the direction that you are going to propel yourself. When you read that, even subconsciously, when you saw that on your dashboard, you didn't even have to read it out loud every day. Your mind read it and took a picture of it. And then it pushes you to live in that truth, to live in that possibility. And you did it.
Yeah.
This is like, if you tell yourself, I can't, then you can't, and you won't.
You can't.
The universe isn't going to be like, no, boo, it's okay. Like, I'm going to make you into a professional bodybuilder, even though you're not working out and not doing what you're supposed to do, just because I know you kind of want to. No, you still have to work for it. But if you don't believe in it, that work is going to get you there, and the same thing with how you look at yourself in the mirror, with future plans, with your profession, all of these things, what you speak will come to existence. And then that's for negative things as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's badass.
Yeah.
That we can make that happen.
Yes, honey.
It's like the Bruce Lee quote about words being spelling,
Yeah.
making spells. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. All right. Well, I think we've pretty much exhausted the energy possibilities in this episode. We are going to continue a little longer on the After Dark. If you don't know, now you know. Details will be in the show notes, and we will be posting about it just in case. We're gonna take this over to the dark side.
To the dark side, y'all. We're gonna take it.
We'll see you over there if you join us, and if not, you can find me on Instagram at Chrissy Nikki. The podcast is at Tomboy Clubhouse on Instagram and TikTok, and Lila's handles are
at Beautiful and Bold, BEYOUTIFUL and Bold. That is my TikTok, that is my Instagram, and I'm relaunching my coaching page as well, so I will share more information about that, but it is already on my Instagram, so come check me out.
Awesome.
Come check me out.
Yeah. That out. All right, we will see you guys soon next week.
Bye, guys.